The Odyssey, a state-of-the-art spaceship, drifts silently through the infinite darkness of space. Its sleek, metallic body bears the scars of cosmic debris, with streaks of light from distant stars barely illuminating its battered hull. The ship is alone, lost in the vast emptiness, the hum of its failing systems the only sound in the cold silence. The interior is dim, with flickering lights and the soft hiss of leaking air. There's a sense of abandonment, a ghost ship, adrift and forgotten. Inside, Captain Asha stands in the control room, her eyes fixed on the holographic map that flickers in front of her. Asha, in her early 30s, has a tired, rugged appearance. Her uniform is creased, her face haggard, with dark circles under her eyes. She looks like someone who hasn't slept for days, someone who's carrying the weight of an entire mission's failure. She takes a slow breath and glances at the empty seat next to hers, where her crewmates once sat, their absence palpable. The loss of her crew, just days earlier, still hangs heavily in the air. Her hands hover over the console, but she hesitates, the weight of guilt settling on her chest. She swallows hard, her fingers trembling as she reaches to press a button. The communication panel remains dead. She sighs deeply. No signals, no messages. The ship, once alive with the energy of the crew, now feels like a hollow shell in the vastness of space. Walking through the silent corridors of the ship, Asha passes the empty quarters of her fallen crew members. Their personal items are still where they left them: pictures, books, even half-empty cups of coffee. Each room feels like a memory frozen in time, a painful reminder of what was lost. The camera lingers on Asha's face as she walks past. Her eyes are red, but her expression is resolute. She won't give up. She can't. Reaching the observation deck, Asha stands before the panoramic view of the galaxy. The stars twinkle in the distance, vast and cold. For a moment, she's overwhelmed by the emptiness. Just as she's about to turn away, a faint, crackling sound breaks the silence. A transmission. It's weak at first, a garbled mess of static and interference, but as the signal clears, Asha's breath catches in her throat. A voice, clear, urgent, pierces through the static. "Help, please. We're here." The transmission is broken, but there's no mistaking it. Someone else is out there. Someone is alive. Asha's heart races. After days of isolation, the first real sign of life. The signal is coming from the heart of the nearby wormhole. She quickly runs the coordinates, her fingers shaking but determined. This could be her chance, her crew's last hope. Asha makes the decision in an instant. She activates the ship's engines and adjusts the course. The Odyssey will venture into the unknown toward the mysterious signal. As the ship shifts its course, Asha stands at the helm, looking out into the dark void. The camera pulls back to show the vastness of space, the Odyssey a small speck in the enormous cosmos. The cold, indifferent universe looms large around her. But for the first time in days, there's hope. There's a purpose. She's not alone. As the Odyssey shifts direction, Asha watches the star map carefully, tracking the faint signal that is guiding her toward the unknown. Her eyes flicker between the coordinates on the screen and the slowly approaching wormhole ahead. The deep, endless darkness of space seems to be closing in around her, but she's determined. Every second counts. Her fingers hover over the controls, her gaze never leaving the glowing blue light of the wormhole that grows larger on the screen. The transmission, though weak and intermittent, starts to come through with more clarity. The voice is shaky but distinct. We need help. There's no time. It's not safe." The words fade in and out, the static growing more intense as Asha pushes the ship closer to the wormhole. She leans in, pressing a button to enhance the signal, but all she can hear now are fragments. "We're trapped. It's too powerful. Help." Asha's mind races. Who is this? How are they alive? Was the ship damaged the same way hers was? There are too many questions, and every answer she uncovers seems to lead to more uncertainty. She glances at the control panel. Warnings about structural damage flash across the screen. The ship's energy reserves are critically low. and the wormhole's gravitational pull is getting stronger. But she can't turn back now. The choice to go through the wormhole feels more like a leap of faith than a calculated decision. Her ship's systems are barely functional. The threat of being pulled into a black hole or crushed by the forces of the wormhole is real. But if there's even a small chance someone is out there, Asha has to try. She takes a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. Just a little longer, she mutters to herself. I have to know. As the Odyssey begins its descent into the wormhole, the view outside shifts dramatically. The stars blur, distorted into streaks of light as the ship gets closer to the event horizon. The surrounding space seems to ripple, like a fabric tearing at the seams. Asha braces herself, gripping the console tightly as the ship is pulled deeper into the wormhole. She watches as the galaxy outside warps into an unrecognizable spiral of light and color. This is no ordinary space phenomenon. This is something ancient, something far beyond human comprehension. Just as the ship enters the wormhole, a harsh alarm blares. The navigation system goes haywire and the lights flicker, plunging the control room into near darkness. What the hell? Asha whispers, her fingers racing across the buttons, trying to regain control. The wormhole is alive, pulsating, and resisting her attempts to steer the ship. The energy readings spike, then a blinding flash. The Odyssey lurches forward with a violent jolt, throwing Asha against her seat. For a moment, everything goes white. When her vision clears, she's staring at a completely different space, far more alien and unrecognizable than before. A new galaxy. Or a different dimension, she can't be sure. The stars here have a strange, unnatural hue, green, purple, and gold, casting an eerie glow over the ship. The mysterious signal. Before she can even process what's happening, the transmission cuts through the ship's comm system again. But this time, it's different. It's not just a voice anymore, it's a vision. A flash of a distant planet. Then a brief image of a strange alien figure, its face obscured, but its energy unmistakable. It reaches toward her, and the transmission ends abruptly. Asha takes a shaky breath, her hand gripping the control panel, her mind reeling. This isn't just a rescue mission anymore. It's something far greater, something ancient, something alive. She's stepped into the heart of the unknown, and whatever lies ahead will change everything. I'm not turning back, she whispers to herself, determination hardening her voice. Whatever it takes, I'll find out what's going on here. The scene ends. The camera lingers on Asha's face as she steadies herself, eyes wide with both fear and curiosity. The Odyssey drifts deeper into the unknown galaxy, the stars glowing brighter and more unnaturally. The music swells, tense and foreboding, as the ship moves toward the mysterious signal, and the screen cuts to black. Asha's first glimpse of the unknown as the Odyssey drifts further into the strange galaxy. Asha can feel the weight of the unknown pressing in around her. The eerie glow of the stars outside casts an unnatural light on the ship's control room, illuminating Asha's face, a mixture of determination and growing concern. She grips the controls, trying to make sense of the situation. The stars here are not like the familiar ones she's known all her life. They're too bright, too saturated, and they shimmer with an almost unnatural energy. Asha quickly scans the readings on her monitor. Energy levels are fluctuating wildly, and gravitational forces are acting unpredictably. This isn't just a wormhole, it's something far more complex. Her mind races, but her focus remains sharp. She has to follow the signal. She has no choice. The transmission she's been following is stronger now, more coherent than before, but still fragmented. The voice comes through again, this time much clearer, with a growing sense of urgency. You're too close. You don't know what you're dealing with. Leave now. Or... The message cuts off abruptly, the static crackling through the speakers like an electric storm. Asha freezes. The "or" hangs in the air like a warning that's too late to heed. But the urgency in the voice only solidifies her resolve. Whoever this is, they're in danger. Asha has come this far. She's not backing out now. "Whoever you are, I'm coming," Asha murmurs under her breath, her fingers flying over the controls, pulling the ship toward the source of the signal. Suddenly, the Odyssey shudders violently, as if caught in an unseen force. The ship's alarms blare, and Asha is thrown against her seat, heart pounding. The stars outside distort, twisting and stretching into strange shapes. The ship's navigation system goes haywire, flashing chaotic warning signs across the panel. There's no time to think. A massive dark cloud appears ahead, growing at an alarming rate. It's not a nebula or a star. This thing is alive. It pulses, radiating a dark energy that seems to twist the very fabric of space around it. The cloud of swirling energy is almost sentient, as if it's reacting to the ship's presence, seeking to trap it. Her hands fly over the control panel, trying desperately to steer the ship away from the anomaly, but it's too late. The gravitational pull of the dark cloud is too strong. The Odyssey is sucked in, spinning uncontrollably as Asha struggles to maintain control. "No, no, not now," she yells, her breath ragged with panic. The ship is drawn deeper into the cloud, and the interior lights flicker, casting shadows across Asha's face. She can hear the ship groaning under the strain, metal creaking, systems failing. She knows she has moments, maybe seconds, before the Odyssey is torn apart. Just when Asha thinks all is lost, the ship's systems suddenly stabilize, and the gravitational forces release their hold. She's thrown forward against the controls as the ship is jerked free, but she doesn't have time to process what happened. A blinding light fills the cockpit, blurring everything in its path. And then, before Asha can even react, a figure appears in front of her. The vision is like something out of a dream, or perhaps a nightmare. A figure in a flowing, dark cloak stands before her, floating effortlessly in the air. Its face is hidden beneath a hood, but there's a presence there, an overwhelming, ancient power radiating from it. A low hum vibrates through the ship as the figure stares at Asha, its eyes glowing faintly with an unearthly light. "You should not have come here," the figure intones, its voice echoing in Asha's mind, not through the ship's comms. The voice is both soft and terrifying, like 1,000 whispers in the dark. Asha's heart races as she stares at the apparition, her mind struggling to comprehend what's happening. "Who are you?" she demands, her voice a mixture of fear and defiance. The figure doesn't respond directly, but instead gestures toward the view outside the ship. As Asha turns to look, her eyes widen in shock. Outside the ship, the anomaly has taken shape. It's not just a cloud, it's a massive, ancient structure, floating in space, surrounded by the swirling energies. The structure is unlike anything she's ever seen. Its surface is covered in intricate carvings, glowing faintly with the same energy that surrounds the figure. A temple? A machine? A relic? The possibilities flood her mind, but none make sense. The cloaked figure raises a hand, and the stars outside seem to dim, as if they're being swallowed by the power of the structure. "You have trespassed into sacred space," it says, its voice more ominous now. "The consequences of your actions will affect more than just you." The figure's eyes glow brighter, the hum of its presence intensifying. Asha's breath catches in her throat. She's no longer just a lost astronaut on a mission to rescue survivors. She's stumbled into something far older, far more dangerous than she could have ever imagined. And the clock is ticking. As the Odyssey floats in the shadow of the alien structure, Asha sits in stunned silence, the weight of the figure's warning hanging heavy in the air. The voice still echoes in her mind, its cryptic words creating a sense of unease that she can't shake. "The consequences of your actions will affect more than just you." What does that mean? Who or what is she really up against? She presses her hands against the console, willing herself to think clearly. Her fingers hover over the communication controls, but she hesitates. The transmission had stopped abruptly after the figure's appearance, and now all she hears is the hum of the Odyssey's engines and the distant crackling of the stars outside. She's alone, utterly isolated in this foreign corner of space. Asha takes a deep breath, trying to push down the rising panic. I didn't come all this way to turn back. With renewed determination, she activates the communications system and tries again to reach the source of the transmission, the one that led her here in the first place. Whoever you are, I need answers. What is this place? The words feel empty in the silence. To her surprise, a voice, familiar yet distorted, crackles through the speakers. Asha, you have to leave. It's too late now. You've awakened it. The voice is fragmented, but Asha immediately recognizes it. It's the same voice that sent the earlier transmission, the one pleading for help. But now the voice sounds fearful. What have I awakened? Asha demands, her grip tightening on the console. The voice, now clearer, speaks in a panicked tone. The anomaly, the Voidbringer. It was dormant for eons, but now that you've entered its domain, it's too late. It will not allow you to leave. The transmission cuts off again, leaving Asha staring at the flickering screen, her heart pounding in her chest. Suddenly, the ship shudders again, this time with greater force. The star system outside the Odyssey seems to warp, and the eerie glow of the alien structure pulses with an unnatural rhythm. Asha's mind races. Voidbringer, the anomaly. What is this ancient entity, and why does it seem to be drawn to her? Before she can process further, a new image fills her view. The structure outside the ship begins to open. Slowly, the enormous doors of the alien temple-like formation begin to part, revealing a vast interior filled with an intricate maze of glowing runes, symbols, and alien machinery. The sight is both breathtaking and terrifying. In that moment, Asha knows what she has to do. She doesn't have the luxury of time. Whatever is in there, she has to find it before it finds her. I didn't come this far to run, she says aloud, her voice barely a whisper as she steers the Odyssey toward the opening, her decision final. As the Odyssey slowly approaches the open gateway, the air around the ship grows thick with energy. The ship's hull vibrates under the pressure, the systems flickering as if struggling to stay operational. Asha's hands are steady, but her mind is racing. She's entering the heart of an unknown civilization, and she has no idea what awaits inside. The Odyssey passes through the archway, its senses going haywire as the ship crosses into the inner sanctum. The once pristine systems now flicker uncontrollably, and Asha hears the unsettling hum of the alien technology in the background. The environment inside the temple feels otherworldly, the walls pulsating with an ancient power that seems to resonate with the core of her very being. She's never felt anything like this before. As the ship moves deeper into the temple, a flash of light surrounds Asha, and suddenly, she is no longer sitting in the cockpit. Instead, she finds herself standing in the middle of a vast chamber, the walls lined with alien glyphs and strange symbols. The air is thick, and the ground beneath her feet seems to hum with energy. Before she can comprehend what's happening, she is assaulted by a vision, a flood of memories that don't belong to her. Ancient beings, their faces obscured, standing in a circle, chanting in a forgotten language. Massive starships and unimaginable technologies. The vision flashes faster and faster, revealing an ancient war, a battle fought across the stars, and the ultimate sacrifice made by a powerful entity, the Voidbringer. The Voidbringer had once been a guardian, a protector of the galaxy, but it had become corrupted, its mind twisted by an ancient force, and it had sealed itself away, bound within the temple to prevent its madness from spreading. Asha blinks, and the vision fades. She stumbles back, gripping the console for support, trying to make sense of what she's just witnessed. So the anomaly, it's the Voidbringer. The pieces are starting to fall into place. But why me? Why now? Before she can delve deeper into the mystery, the voice from earlier returns. But this time, it's no longer distorted. It's clear, desperate, and full of regret. You've awakened it, Asha, but you can still stop it. The voice trembles. You need to find the core, the source. You must destroy it before it consumes everything. Suddenly, the entire ship lurches, as though something massive has just awakened inside the temple. Asha's heart races as the voice continues, "Hurry, it's coming for you." You have to destroy the core. Asha's heart races as the Odyssey drifts further into the temple's vast inner sanctum. The alien technology around her hums with a low, ominous frequency, the air thick with tension. The voice, desperate and urgent, continues to echo in her mind, a constant reminder that time is running out. You must destroy the core, Asha, before it's too late. Asha tightens her grip on the control panel, her knuckles white. But how? What is the core? She feels a knot of fear twist in her stomach, but she pushes it down. There's no room for fear now. She has a mission. Find the core, destroy it, and stop the Voidbringer from consuming everything. The ship's sensors flicker, and a series of strange symbols appear on her display screen. Guidance, perhaps, or a trap. She squints at the glowing holographic map, which shows the layout of the temple's vast, labyrinthine interior. The core is located at the heart of the structure, deep beneath the temple's surface. Asha takes a deep breath. No turning back now, she whispers to herself. The Odyssey descends through the glowing, pulsating corridors of the temple. The walls are alive, shifting and changing, as though the structure itself is sentient. Asha's eyes widen in disbelief as she watches strange mechanical arms, hidden within the walls, reach out and retract, as if preparing to defend the temple from intruders. Her pulse quickens. Something is watching her. The Voidbringer. Suddenly, the ship's systems emit an alarm, signaling an incoming threat. Asha looks up, but it's already too late. Shit, she mutters as the walls around her light up in eerie green and purple hues, and strange mechanical guardians begin to stir. I knew this was too easy. Without warning, a horde of sentinel robots appears in the chamber, their angular forms gliding swiftly towards the Odyssey. These beings are made of shimmering metallic alloys, their eyes glowing with a cold, mechanical intelligence. Their movements are deliberate, precise, and completely devoid of mercy. Asha immediately punches in evasive maneuvers, sending the Odyssey into a steep dive, narrowly avoiding a volley of laser fire. The ship shakes as the first blast hits the hull, but the shields hold. She can't afford to let her guard down. The sentinels are relentless. They fire energy blasts at the ship, tracking Asha's every move with terrifying accuracy. Come on. Asha grits her teeth, her hands dancing across the controls, executing barrel rolls and quick turns to dodge the incoming fire. The ship jerks violently with each impact, but Asha's focus is razor-sharp. She knows she has to keep moving. There's no other option. A powerful blast rocks the Odyssey, and Asha is thrown against the control panel. She quickly rights herself, slamming her hands on the console, sending the ship into a spin to avoid another barrage of lasers. I can't keep this up forever, she mutters through gritted teeth. The sentinels keep coming, faster and more aggressive with each passing second. The Odyssey is badly damaged, and Asha knows she has to get out of the line of fire. In a desperate move, she slams the emergency thrusters and speeds the ship through a narrow passageway, barely wide enough for the ship to fit. The sentinels follow, but they're not agile enough to navigate the tight corridors. Asha grins with a glimmer of hope, but it's short-lived. As she turns a sharp corner, she comes face to face with a massive energy wall that blocks the path forward. The ship lurches to a halt just in time, avoiding a crash. Suddenly, the entire temple begins to shake violently. The floor rumbles beneath Asha's feet, and the air grows thick with static. A deep, guttural growl echoes through the walls, and Asha realizes the Voidbringer is waking up. I've got to hurry, she whispers to herself. The holographic map flickers back to life, guiding her towards the heart of the temple. The core is located at the very center, a massive chamber where the heart of the Voidbringer lies dormant. Until now, the Odyssey descends deeper into the temple, passing through an ancient energy field that distorts the space around it. Asha braces herself as the ship's hull groans under the strain. As the ship reaches the final chamber, she sees it, a massive structure that seems to hum with raw, pulsating energy. The core is here, embedded deep within the heart of the temple. The room is bathed in a strange, shifting light, casting long shadows across the walls. The core, a giant crystalline structure, pulses with an eerie light, its power growing stronger by the second. Asha's breath catches in her throat as she realizes what she's up against. This is no ordinary relic. This is a weapon, an ancient, unfathomable power capable of destroying entire galaxies. But before she can make her move, the Voidbringer itself appears, its form immense and shadowy, a towering figure of darkness. It's not a physical being, but a manifestation of pure malevolent energy. The temple around them seems to collapse into darkness, the glowing core becoming the only source of light. The Voidbringer's presence is suffocating, its power overwhelming. Asha feels the weight of its gaze, as though it is reading her very thoughts. "You cannot stop me," it booms, its voice reverberating through her body. "I am the end of all things." With one final look at the Voidbringer, Asha begins the descent toward the core. It's time to end this, but the Voidbringer won't make it easy. The chamber around them quakes as she approaches, and she can feel the pulse of the core matching the beat of her own heart. She presses forward, knowing that her actions here will either save or doom the galaxy. Asha's pulse races, she's standing at the edge of destruction, and the only way to stop the Voidbringer is to destroy the core, but it's protected by the very thing she's fighting. She takes a deep breath, knowing that this will be the most dangerous decision of her life.